In a world where stealing wallets is foreplay and trust is tested, where everything is a deception, can two con artists bluff their way out of trouble? Let's meet Nikki Spurgeon, played by Will Smith, a smooth-talking, sharply dressed professional con artist. Nikki doesn't just lie, he orchestrates illusions, distracts with charm, misdirects with intent, and always stays 10 moves ahead. Now enter Jess Barrett, played by Margot Robbie, gorgeous, impulsive, and broke. Nikki's first encounter with Jess isn't in some high-stakes casino or luxury yacht. It's at a sleek bar in New York City. He's nursing a drink, minding his own business, when he spots a blonde bombshell, Jess, in the middle of fending off a pushy guy who just won't take a hint. She makes a split-second decision and slips over to Nikki's table, whispering for him to just go with it. Classic damsel in distress hustle, and Nikki plays along effortlessly. One flirty conversation turns into another, and before long, they're headed upstairs to Jess's hotel room. The mood shifts as they start making out, until… boom! A man bursts in, waving a gun, shouting, and Jess says that he is her husband.
Oh my god, it's my husband!
Shut the fuck up!
The perfect storm of drama and danger. But Nikki, he barely flinches. With a smirk, he calmly tells the man he has cancer. It throws everyone off. Jess freezes. That's when she realizes Nikki's onto them. He coolly breaks down their amateur setup, the weak timing, the shaky act, the obvious desperation. If they really wanted to rob him, he says, they should have done it with more finesse. He leaves, but not without planting a seed of curiosity. When Jess walks out of the hotel later, Nikki's waiting. He invites her for coffee. Over that cup, he tells her a story, not just any story, but a brutal lesson from the con world. A tale of two partners, where one had to shoot the other to prove they weren't working together. One of them was Nikki's father, the other, his grandfather.
So your father killed your grandfather?
They called it the Toledo panic button, a loyalty test where a bullet speaks louder than words. After Jess keeps persisting and going after him, begging him to teach her his ways of conning people, Nikki recruits her. Now, cue a whirlwind crash course in the art of deception, where Nikki trains Jess like a magician training an apprentice, sleight of hand, team dynamics, and human psychology. She learns fast and is a natural.
You get their focus. You take whatever you…
Now we meet Nikki's crew. Farhad, the tech genius, dirty-minded comic relief, and surprisingly loyal. Next, we have Horst, who's the muscle, plus a ragtag team of pickpockets and grifters, all prepping for a massive score in New Orleans. Nikki also has a gambling problem on the side. They execute dozens of small scams leading up to the Super Bowl weekend, cashing in $1.2 million in just one weekend.
$1.2 million.
But it's what happens inside the stadium that changes everything. At the Super Bowl in New Orleans, Nikki takes Jess on what seems like a luxurious date, but there's always more going on than meets the eye. They're in a skybox, sipping champagne and mingling with the elite, when Nikki spots Liu Yan Sei. He's eccentric, wealthy, and addicted to risk. What starts as a few friendly wagers quickly spirals into a high-stakes betting war. Nikki keeps pushing, raising the stakes with every round. He bets on plays, players,
100 grand. Next play. Passing complete.
even coin tosses, until he's gambled away every single dollar his crew has earned from their recent scams. Jess watches in stunned disbelief as the losses pile up. But Nikki's not sweating, at least not on the outside. Nikki keeps losing as Jess watches in horror as he spirals deeper. Then, Nikki asks Liu Yan to pick a random player on the field. If Jess can guess who he picked, they double the $1.2 million.
Pick any player on or off the field, and she'll guess the number.
Liu Yan initially says no, but soon after accepts the bet as he can't turn down free money. Jess nervously looks around with binoculars, only to find Farhad dressed as one of the players, so she chooses him, and he has the jersey number 55. She somehow guesses right, leaving herself stunned. But of course, it was never luck to begin with. Turns out, Nicky and his crew had been priming Liu Yan all day, leaving subliminal cues everywhere, billboards, uniforms, hotel numbers, all pointing to the number 55, the jersey number Jess had randomly chosen. It wasn't gambling, it was science, manipulation, and pure control. Jess is floored. She's in awe of Nicky's setups, and maybe even in love. But then Nicky asks the cab driver to pull over and gives Jess her share of the money. He gets off and tells the driver to take her to the airport. Because love clouds your focus, and Nicky Spurgeon can't afford to be blind. 3 years later, in Buenos Aires, Nicky resurfaces for a sleek, high-stakes gig with a billionaire motorsport mogul named Garriga and his watchdog, Owens. The job was to sell a fake fuel efficiency algorithm to rival race teams, sabotage the competition, and walk away rich. Everything's under control, until she walks in. Jess, dressed in red, was stunning. And now, she's dating Garriga. Nicky freezes. All the poise, the discipline, it crumbles. Because Jess wasn't just a fling. She was the one con he never mastered. He tries to stay focused, but the tension simmers. Every glance they steal is a silent war. Every conversation is laced with half-truths and old scars. Is Jess playing him now? And did she ever really care? Later, at the racetrack, Nicky's assignment is simple. Act casual while selling fake software to Garriga's rival to make his rivals go slower while Garriga's team flies. Nicky starts circling Jess again, this time with charm, vulnerability, and a little more sincerity, or so it seems. The spark reignites, and soon enough, they're back in each other's arms. But the moment he sees Jess watching from the stands, her arm around Garriga, jealousy boils over. He corners the rival in a garage and loses it, beating the guy far more violently than the plan required. It's supposed to be a performance, but this is personal. Despite Farhad's warning, yes, he's still around, pervy as ever, but loyal to the end. Nicky starts getting sloppy. The emotional stakes are bleeding into the job. He steals the real algorithm from Garriga's encrypted system and first strikes a deal for 3 million euros with McEwen, Garriga's rival. But then, he sells it to all of Garriga's rivals, earning up to 27 million euros for himself, ready to disappear. But turns out, it's a trap. Garriga finds out. And Nicky? He's caught. Now tied up and tortured, Jess is also somehow tied up with him. Because it turns out, Jess was never in a relationship with Garriga.
Garriga's not my boyfriend.
She was simply flirting with him to get his watch.
I was trying to steal his watch.
Just as it looks like this twisted love triangle is about to get one of them killed, Owens pulls the trigger, shooting Nicky in the chest. Bang! Nicky is shot straight in the chest. Blood pours out as Jess screams. But wait, the shooter? He's actually Bucky Spurgeon, Nicky's estranged father, who was in on the scam all along. Turns out it was Bucky who had slipped the real algorithm to Nicky. It was the Toledo panic button in action again. Same brutal loyalty code passed down through generations. Turns out, Daddy Dearest is the original legend in the con world. The man who taught Nicky everything, including when to fake your death. The shooting was all a part of the contingency plan. Nicky was shot in a non-fatal position and was quickly rescued. So he survives, because in the game of deception, even death can be staged. Bucky drives Nicky and Jess to the hospital, When they get to the hospital, Bucky lectures Nikki that in the world of cons, love is a weakness. He then vanishes with the cash, a brutal reminder of what happens when you lose focus. As Jess helps Nikki walk into the hospital, Nikki laughs once he notices Jess has Garriga's watch worth $200,000 on her wrist. This was Focus 2015, where every move is a setup. What do you think? Can trust and love survive in a world of smoke and mirrors? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to check out our other recaps, because they are just as fun with a plot twist in hand.